Welcome. Unfortunately, to start off the stream, Bitcoin is not doing something good. It's actually under 42K. That was the important level. Of course, you could easily close the candle above it. It could be a fake out, but if it does close like this, I mean, that's your support, and there it goes. So not good, not what I was hoping for. I mean, it was up, it was down, it was up, it was down, but if we kind of zoom in now, for the first time, you've been testing this level for 3 days now. It's actually breaking it. So if you break this level on Bitcoin, all you really have left is the 200-day moving average, which is around 39,800. So the stop loss is just right under that. I don't know if Bitcoin wants to get back to the 200-day moving average. I mean, we could see the last time it was there. So really, if we take a look at it, when Bitcoin broke over the 200-day moving average is really right after the COVID crash. And that's, you know, it's always been going crazy ever since. But since like pretty much exactly a year ago, Bitcoin has not been at the 200-day moving average. It's not really touched it. It's kind of just been above it. So you're still above it. I don't know if you're going to actually hit it, but for now, you're very well under February 28th lows. And you're also currently, this is the final support, you're kind of below the candle high from January 8th. You still have like where the candle bodies closed at as another potential support, but just in general, you definitely want to be above this area. I mean, this is an area that obviously I've been talking about for days that I was hoping for to hold. This is an area that a lot of other people are talking about. I watched like 3 different other like technical analysis live streamers also talk about this same exact level today. And you're breaking it just for right now, of course. Like I said, anything can happen by the time the candle closes, but MACD moving back down again. Like right now, you cannot get classic bullish divergence if the MACD histogram bar closes like this. But again, this will be moving up and down based on the price action until the candle closes tomorrow. So that could obviously change as well. But like really at this point, you're just hoping it's a fake out, but everybody's looking at this level and you're under it very clearly. And you're currently at session lows. Bitcoin's pretty much, it's been at the lowest price it's been for months, but now it's like continuing to go even lower. So we'll see if a miracle can happen here. I mean, in all honesty, the trade is only down 4%, but because I waited all the way until down here to put it out. But walking the tight line on Bitcoin, we'll see what happens. We'll come back to it later. We're obviously going to try and keep tabs on it. I already have an alert set up, which is probably about to get triggered. So let me just lower that alert a little bit. But I know it's not the best way to start off the stream, but yeah, crypto not doing too hot right now. Even the OMG trade's down a little bit, or more than a little bit. It's down also 4%. So both the crypto trades are down 4%. So crypto, not too good right now. Kind of went light on it. I could have put out more trades, but I was just trying to keep it simple for this specific reason until we got more confirmation, which we're not getting right now. You're below the demand line. We'll come back to crypto later. On the other hand, in the stock market, personally, it was a pretty good day for myself. If you're following my trades, it was also a good day for you. unless you were in like only one trade was down like 3%. Everything else was pretty much either flat or in the green. But it was weird because I couldn't even tell. Obviously, I know I was looking at the indices today, but I couldn't really feel that it was a red day for the market. The Nasdaq actually was green at one point, then it flipped over to red in the afternoon. And really what happened is you got another S&P pullback. It's, I think that's what both Monday and today were pullbacks for the S&P. Nasdaq had a green open, but then closed pretty much at session lows. So for the overall indices like Nasdaq and the S&P and the Russell as well, it was a red day. They were all down more than 0.5%, so that was pretty real. But I'm not really in a lot of those stocks. I'm not really in the large cap stocks. There's like 2 trades that are large cap stocks. There's one premium trade, and then there's the Nvidia trade for everybody else. But other than those 2 trades, which were again relatively flat today, everything else had a really good day. Growth had a great day. If you have been watching the streams ever since like last Wednesday, pretty much when the market was bottoming out last week over here, I was talking about how bullish I was on growth, and honestly growth has started off to a better start than I anticipated. Like growth has been amazing on Friday, yesterday, and today, and obviously that's been portrayed in the trades. So it's kind of weird because like for the trades, yes, they're doing well, but I do understand like if you're taking your own trades, then you're in pretty much like 90% of other things. Like they were pretty much red today. If we look at the Finviz heat map, you can see like for the actual overall market, it was super red like across the board. But if you come over to like the trade sheet, let me lower the brightness, no ongoing trades are red. Technically the only trade that did not work out so far this week was Clover, and 2 bad catalysts came out. I had no clue that they would have came out. So that was the reason here. I mean, it started off nicely on Monday with earnings, and then got a neutral rating, and then also Hindenburg put out a tweet about them. So I was like, that's the only trade technically in the red this whole entire week. It already got stopped out, but everything else is either green or flat. So pretty happy about how the sheet's doing compared to last week, which was literally a nightmare. Probably like definitely top 2 worst weeks ever for my trades. So this is a good relief on the trades, but for the market, not so much. It's still being super weird. A lot of indecision like we talked about last night, which I'm obviously going to talk about the market here in a second. But if you're in the right things right now, it was a good day. If you're not in these things, it's unfortunate for sure. It's just a lot of rotation, a lot of things going on. Tomorrow's a pretty big day from both the technical standpoint and a fundamental standpoint. So you have FOMC minutes tomorrow, where we're likely going to be getting notes on what a lot of people are thinking about the economy. So that can affect things to either direction. I'm not sure when it is. I heard 2 p.m. EST. So that tends to lead to a volatile trading day a lot of the times when we have that lining up. So tomorrow, I think both Monday and Tuesday for the actual S&P and the Nasdaq and the Russell were just like kind of slow bleeding days. Like we didn't get any crazy pullbacks like on the indices, but they've just been slowly bleeding this week so far. Tomorrow, I think we're in for, and again, who knows what happens. Maybe we do have a flat day, but I just think that a lot of things are in very big make or break areas, and we could be in for a pretty volatile day tomorrow, which could be good or bad. It just depends which side the action will be towards. Maybe it's both. Maybe we have a green few hours, a red few hours, who knows. So we'll see. Let's just do some market analysis, and then we'll talk about the trades. After we talk about the trades, we'll do chat requests. And I'm not sure, like I don't know for sure right now, but this might be the final stream for some time. There's just a bunch of things I'm not too sure about right now for the next week or so, which means I may or may not stream. My streaming schedule is probably just going to be a little bit off, but we'll talk about it later as it comes along. Franco, I probably going to mess up this last name, Sproviero, thank you for the 5 Canadian dollars, I believe. The message is, just want to show my appreciation for all you do. Are you holding Fisker long term? I personally love it. I think it's going to be a beast in the future. Always said this, I'm in for the long run on Fisker. Said this since day one. Let me fix my audio. Thank you again for the tip, really appreciate it. The volume down. I mean, I like Fisker for the long run, yes. Do I also short-term trade it? Yes. I mean, Fisker options have been one of my best trades in the past few days. I've been in and out of Fisker options like 3 different times between last week and even today I was playing Fisker options in the morning. I did take profits a little bit early on Fisker today. I took profits when Fisker got up to like 1180. It went all the way up to like 1250. But I did take some early profits on my calls, but they were up like 2x, so I can't complain. Yeah, to answer your question, I agree with you that Fisker is going to be a beast in the future. I don't know for sure, but it's one of my highest conviction stocks, if that makes sense. I'm talking about a 5 to 10 year outlook and even further. It's something that, you know, everybody has that one stock that they just love. I feel like Fisker is that for me. It's just my stock that no matter what the price action is doing in the short term, I just like the company and I want to be around the stock in and out, and also just for the long run. So hope that answers your question kind of. But back to the market analysis. Futures relatively flat. They're down a little bit, not too much. I might have to sneeze here in a second. All right, so we'll talk about the S&P 500 first. It was down 0.85% today. It was developing hidden bullish divergence, but with the pullback, you're no longer developing that for right now. Sorry, my hair is like super messed up. I just realized, but not good. I mean, again, if you watch the streams, if you're in the Discord, I've been talking about this 1 hour hidden bearish divergence since like Friday morning, and that's pretty much what happened. You had hidden bearish divergence, and you got to pull back off of that. It's now confirmed on the 1 hour. So you had low time frame bearish divergence on the S&P. Like everything that's happened on the S&P since last Wednesday has been very easy to kind of anticipate, in my opinion. So Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of last week were probably 3 of the worst trading days for me personally for my trades. It was just super hard to really get a grasp of anything when we were doing this drop. This was a very quick and volatile drop, especially on the NASDAQ. It was much worse than the S&P. But then we got down to a very technical level, which was your kind of your consolidation zone at the beginning of April. We faked out for a little bit, but we reclaimed it like the next morning. And ever since that morning, Thursday morning, May 13th, ever since we reclaimed above 4068, like literally the second I saw we reclaimed it in the morning, I got super, super bullish and had a big move, and you went all the way back up to a resistance. So like literally what happened on the S&P within the last 2 weeks has just been super technical, where you had a huge pullback with bearish divergence, came all the way back down to your major support, bounced off your support, broke back above another support, which was a resistance for a little bit, and then you went to the next one. Again, if you're in the Discord, I showed you this level like on Friday, because you had a gap fill over here, you had a resistance, which used to be your support, and you even had the golden retrace where from the high to the low, you came back up about 61% of the way, went a little bit higher, but then tweezer topped and pulled back. So if you go into the announcements channel in the Discord, I said on Friday that I was expecting a pullback very soon. Didn't happen on Friday, but it happened on Monday, and obviously it's continued into today. So we'll see what happens. The hidden bearish divergence, like again, it's just so technical. Everything that's happening on the S&P is so technical on low time frames. Now the issue is when you go to high time frames, it gets very, very confusing. On the daily, you have potential hidden bullish divergence. On the weekly, you have potential classic bearish divergence. Like there's just so many conflicting variables that it's really hard to get a good read off of the S&P on high time frames. But if you look at the low time frames for the past 4 or 5 days, technicals, exactly what the technicals have been saying is what's been happening on the S&P, and that's what happened again today. So that's like my in-depth analysis on the S&P 500. Now we're going to talk about the NASDAQ, the Russell, the ARK ETF, the dollar, the US 10-year yield. And when I cover all of that, the rest of the market analysis, we'll talk about the trades. And then after that, we'll do chat requests. So just sit back for a while, and we're going to do some analysis because this is going to be affecting a lot of stocks that you're trading. So make sure you hit that like button. Thank you for the 17 likes already. Hit that subscribe button as well. And let's move on to the NASDAQ, which again, I said in the Discord when it was double bottoming with classic bullish divergence and a falling wedge, it looked super bullish on Wednesday. It went all the way up to the 618. As you can see, it came over to the golden retrace between the 50 and the 618, pulled back, hidden bearish divergence. It was technically bullish down here. It was technically bearish up here. It bounced when it was bullish. It pulled back when it was bearish. What else do you want? The technicals gave you the truth, and they weren't even hard to find. You just have to go to the chart and they're like right there. So at this point, now you have confirmed 1 hour hidden bearish divergence on the NASDAQ, kind of like a double top looking formation at the golden retrace. and you have a gap fill to the downside. You also have a gap fill to the downside on the S&P. You have two gap fills that are kind of not close, but not super far. Like they're in areas where you still could fill them. I'll just show it to you really quickly on the S&P. The first one, why are you not? Okay, so the first one from the gap fill, I think it's like you really have to zoom in. Let me see. Right over here, like technically on Thursday you gapped up if you look at like the 30-minute chart, but if you go out to the daily you can't even see it. So I'm not too sure about that. And then we have that gap fill all the way down to 40.20, which we never got to last week when we were dumping. So there are gap fills to the downside. There's also gap fills to the upside. You never filled this gap on the S&P from when it gapped down in the beginning of last week. And on the NASDAQ, I think there's also an upside gap fill. Yeah, right over here. So you have gap fills to both directions, which just makes it even more confusing to get a good read on high time frames. On the NASDAQ, you're somehow still developing hidden bullish divergence on the daily. We'll see how that continues to move. Futures just pulled back, like literally as I'm speaking. They were flat, now they're down about 1/5%. And yeah, that's the NASDAQ. Let's talk about the Russell, the small cap index next. This was literally my favorite chart last Wednesday. I was spamming it in the Discord chats. I gave out options to premium members, and it was literally the best performing index in the past few days. And then it pulled today. Finally, it actually went higher than I thought it would. So the target on my options, on my calls, was pretty much this area, and it even went higher, went up to the 786, and then it started pulling back. So IWM had a very, very nice run off of last week's lows, and then it just pulled back today with the rest of the large cap. Well, this is the small cap indice or index. It pulled back with the other indices to put it, pretty closely. So again, the market did what I wanted it to do. You got the nice bounce on Thursday and Friday last week. Then you got the pullback yesterday and today for the overall, the big indices. And really, that didn't affect anything for me personally because I was in growth stocks. Because I thought a lot of growth stocks looked really, really bullish. If you did not watch Sunday night's stream, I'm sorry, but you should have. And we literally talked about all the stocks that have been running yesterday and today on Sunday night's stream. And that's led to a very good start to the week for a lot of the trades, regardless of what the market is doing. And one really good indicator of that is the ARK ETF, which was actually up about 1.5% today, which is the ARK Innovation ETF. A lot of growth stocks in this one. Obviously, it changes over time, but typically a lot of growth stocks and those newer stocks. All those stocks that were dumping from February to May, you could probably think of them in your head while the market was making all-time highs. This has a lot of them. As you can see, it pulled back pretty much from the middle of February until last week, bottomed out, put in 2 bullish harmonics in a row, broke a supply line, started moving up. So super technical yet again. Just to finish off the market analysis, let's look at the VIX. Shot back up over 19.6. I like when it's below it. I do not like when it's above it. Typically, things get very, very volatile in the market when we get above 20 on the VIX. And we're back above it. So I don't know how that's going to affect things tomorrow. I just want to get back under it. The Dow Jones, really just completely neutral, really bullish trend, but not much else to talk about. US 10-year yields, kind of at a make or break area, not much to talk about. In the dollar, let's go. Dollar's breaking a demand line, not developing the classic bullish divergence anymore. If there's anything that I want the technicals to fail on, it's this. So we'll see what happens. And yeah, like I said earlier, tomorrow you have FOMC minutes. And a pretty important technical day for the markets to see if we're going to go fill those gaps or if we're going to just bounce and keep going, even though we did pull back for 2 days. So that recaps everything I wanted to talk about the market for. Now we're going to talk about the ongoing trades, which have been the complete opposite of the market to start off the week, as you can see right over here. And I'm going to talk about them again. Like I said last week on stream, I tried spamming it and repeating it and repeating it. All these growth stocks had bullish divergence on high time frames with 3-month long harmonics at ice lines, and go figure why they're all bouncing while the market's red. Is it not like we talked about it for 4 days in a row? You know what I'm saying? The technicals, it's just everything in the past few days has been perfect if you know what technical analysis is. The S&P and the NASDAQ falling, the technicals implied it. Growth stocks bouncing, the technicals implied it. So what I always prefer, I love putting out trades that hit targets and having gains, but there's nothing that gives me more satisfaction than a technical thesis playing out, and that's what's been happening. That's what actually makes me happy, because I love technical analysis, and when it works out perfectly, it's a beautiful thing. It's like, this is my craft, and when my craft is working, and also it you know, obviously it makes money, it's like the best scenario. But it's not the best scenario for everybody because, again, super high volatility, a lot of rotation. And yeah, Bitcoin, we're going to look back at Bitcoin, then we're going to go to the ongoing trades. And after I cover the ongoing trades, we'll do chat requests for like half an hour. Bitcoin pretty much testing 41K like we talked about right at the start of the stream. It broke 42K. This is the one not good thing from this week. All the stock trades have been doing well. I gave Bitcoin a chance. It was kind of working, kind of not, and now it's like, for now it's definitely not working. Obviously the trade's down 4%. It's not the end of the world, but definitely not where I want it to be right now. So we'll see what happens. Bitcoin's pretty much still testing 41K. The longer you stay under 42K, the more risky that gets because you don't have a lot more support at these levels just because you ran right through them in the beginning of the year. So we'll see what happens. Not thinking Bitcoin's head and shoulders. I think it could be. You could look at it like that. I'm not saying it's definitely not. But regardless, it's like if it breaks this area, it's also just the head and shoulders is also pulling out. So I was just trying to think that, I don't know why my phone's not charging. I was thinking that Bitcoin was at a make or break area. I was leaning towards it being a make situation and not a break situation. Which for now it looks like I'm starting off on the wrong footing, but we'll see what happens. You know, there's so many different ways to look at it. I was trying to look at it like a right angle, descending broadening wedge. If you look at the 4 hour, it was holding it for a couple days. And then today, after 3 days of trying to hold it, there just was not enough buyers at this level and you've broken it now. So if this level breaks, then probably that could be a more valid thesis. And then all you really have left is the 200-day moving average. And if that breaks, there's low support until 30K, which is why the stop loss is where it is. So I pretty much took a 10% bet thinking that with the 200-day moving average and the potential divergence and the multiple supports, that it could invalidate a head and shoulders structure or a rounding top structure, or all the other things people are talking about. And for now, it's not. You know, I was also banking on that 4 hour bullish divergence to do something more than just this, which it didn't. So many different ways to look at it. You could probably look at it like a harmonic, depending on how you anchor it. It's just like there's so many interpretations, but I think one thing that most people agree on from what I've been seeing other streamers say is that 42K is a very important level. And right now you're 500 bucks under it. So yeah, that recaps everything I wanted to talk about. We're going to talk about the trades now. We'll start off with Fisker. Probably going to spend like 10 minutes recapping the trades. And then after that, we'll do ticker requests. Let me take a look at the chat first. Lumber has been going wild for sure. And Fisker was definitely one of the highlights from today. I mean, the trade is up 18% since the entry. Another thing, it's just like the technicals are playing out beautifully. Of course, it did get carried by catalysts. I mean, you had the first catalyst was Foxconn last Thursday. Second catalyst was Monday with like the new technology partner, and then the third catalyst was today. They signed like an agreement with like I didn't even really read into it, but they signed like an agreement, like a $700 car agreement with some other company. So you had 3 catalysts in like 3 or 4 consecutive days. And regardless of missing on EPS, which like I said, I don't think really matters that much for pre-revenue, or for at least for this pre-revenue company, which is like so obvious that like they're not making revenue right now, and they still have pretty much most of the cash that they had a few months ago in the bank. What really changed? Not much. It's the same company, pretty much the same exact sheet. I think they changed like a little bit of their guidance, but that's what happens. And even the chip shortage is not affecting them. So things balanced out and the technicals were able to play out. You pretty much double bottomed at the PCZ of the butterfly on the 4 hour. You had bullish divergence on every single time frame. And it's trades up 18%. I'm not surprised. This is what I was hoping for. And for now, it's good. You closed right at a make or break area, which is a little bit confusing. You can see you pretty much closed right at what you used to be holding as support. So it's hard to tell if you're above it or if you're below it. You also closed around a gap fill. So we'll see what happens. last week. So I got into calls on Fisker early last week, like Tuesday or something, when the market was dropping like crazy. And then on Thursday, you had the Foxconn news come out, and it went all the way up to $12 after hours on Thursday. And then Friday morning, it dumped like right at the open. And thankfully, I was able to sell half of my calls right at the open on Friday for like a 2x, like a 100% profit. And then my calls went all the way back down to their entry, even though I already took half my profits. And then I actually added more calls on Monday, which was a pretty questionable decision, seeing that it was ER, but I was playing with profit money at the end of the day. So I got back into calls, and then today it went up 9%. So I made even more. Like, I've been in and out of these Fisker calls 3 times in the past week, and every time it's worked out. So I fully got out of my Fisker calls today. Actually, I sold them a little bit early. I sold them at like 1180. It went up to 1265. So probably could have made another 100%, but I think I'll take 300% in a week on Fisker. I'm fine with that. And yeah, really good day, make or break area. I definitely want to see it try to close above 1215 on the first 4-hour candle tomorrow, but even if it doesn't, it's not the end of the world. Who broke your trading view? Not too sure. And yeah, it's Fisker. We'll see what happens. Classic bullish divergence technically is just getting started, but keep in mind, from last week's lows until where it closed today, it is up like 27% in a week. So if you get a 5-10% pullback at a make or break area, you could just make a higher low and then run again. So it's like patience. You're well above the entry of the trade, which was 1030. You're now $2 above the entry of the trade. Patience, right? It's a swing trade. It's going to take time, and we'll see what happens there. Another great trade or a great mover today was IPOE. I alerted this on Friday. It got like 2% away from the target. Really, so this trade at one point was up 16% today. It only needed to go up 1 more percent to hit the first target, and then it pulled back. It did pull back out of supply line, which does make sense. I did say in the updates channel on the Discord that it would make some sense to scale some profits out over here, just to take some profits out of potential make or break area, but MACD still looks good. RSI still looks good. Still in a very nice trend. The 4-hour oscillators look fine. So it's still good. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully you can get to the target of the trade and not just get so close and then drop back down. But we'll see what happens. Lenny Trades with the $5 super chat. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. No message or anything, I believe. Oh wait, no, you did drop a message in the chat earlier. I'll take a look at VRM right now. So yeah, IPOE was the other highlight of the day. I think it was up like another 2% or 1% after hours. So good stuff on IPOE as well. Let's go take a look at VRM for Lenny Trades, and we'll come back to the ongoing trades. So Vroom, well above this make or break area that has been at a bunch of times. Dropped leading up to earnings, but then bounced back after earnings, it looks like. There's no bullish divergence. You actually, let me see. You actually have hidden bullish divergence on the daily RSI. You made a higher low on price, but a lower level on the relative strength index. So you do have some hidden bullish divergence currently playing out. In terms of a pattern, I don't see one on the 4-hour or the daily. So I'm not too sure here. It looks like it just ran down up until the earnings, just like a lot of other stocks in this sector. And I guess it had a good reaction to earnings afterwards. Now it's been popping back up. It's like there was definitely a better entry area over here, and now it's at like it's approaching the golden retrace, which I'm just spreading the message like this is a common reversal area for things to pull back at between the 50% and the 618 retrace, and it's just now getting there. So I'm not telling you it's going to pull back. I have no way to know, but all I'm saying is like there was certainly better opportunity here based on like a true swing trade and technicals. In terms from like a fundamental standpoint, I like Vroom. I've traded a bunch of times. I've looked into their company. I like what they're doing. Of course, it is still way below 52-week highs. So anything can happen. Just based on my personal trading strategy, I would have preferred to get in at a lower area. So hopefully that helps you out. Thank you again for the $5 donation. And then like in terms of support and resistance, I mean, I guess your 200-day moving average just appeared on the chart. That's at 44.76, and then after that, you have like 49 bucks, which was your high over here, kind of your support right on these few days. And your support is like this yellow range, which is way lower than the current price if you're looking at high time frames. But let's get back to the ongoing trades. I got like 5 or 6 more I want to talk about, and then we'll get into ticker requests right after that. So I put out a new alert today, THCB. It's like a couple of cents under the entry, but this one, it's like not a typical trade that I would have put out, but it's double bottoming near the SPAC redemption price, and it's breaking us. It already broke a supply line, and it's kind of like creating this little range. It's like a range bound trade. If it does break the range, my second target is just like right up over here from like these candle lows and these candle highs. I think that was also, yeah, like around the 50% retrace of this supply line. So I'm just giving this one a shot. I mean, it's a 5% risk on this trade. If it doesn't work out, the stop loss is just like right under last week's lows by like a few cents. Classic bullish divergence on the daily, MACD and RSI. I think there was 4-hour 4-hour classic bullish divergence on the RSI as well. So that's the new alert that I put out today. It's still around the entry, THCB. I looked into the company a little bit, and I've talked to some people who are more knowledgeable on SPACs, and I've heard good things about what they're trying to do, so we'll see what happens. Off V was actually the worst performing trade out of like 30 trades today, and it was only down 3%. So pretty good day for a lot of these stocks. If the worst trade was a 3% loss and the other trades were not even close to that, I'm very happy. Classic bullish divergence is still there. I just think it was a regular pullback day. Not too much to worry about. The trade's still fine. The trade's still up 4% since the entry. For now, I'm still fine. Pullbacks are going to happen. That's a part of a swing trade. We'll move on. Nvidia. This one's like, it's not even down 1% since the entry. It's down like 0.5% since the entry. I really would like to see Nvidia have a good day tomorrow, which depends on a lot of different things on the overall market, just so you can continue that hidden bullish divergence and not just go right back down to red on the MACD. So I'm hoping for Nvidia to have a nice move tomorrow. I like the higher lows on low time frames and the higher highs. You are kind of at this like demand line area on like the low time frames. We'll see what happens. But you're still above that demand line on the daily, and the stop loss is well under that. So if this trade doesn't work out, it's a 6% loss, right? So that's like the one, I'd say, better thing about trading these large cap tech stocks. It's like they're not as volatile, so your stop losses are like, 5 to 6% losses. Next one, Las Vegas Sands. Trade's still in profit, just a regular pullback on a red day in the market. Literally, it wasn't even a pullback. This thing was flat today. It was actually, what happened on LVS day was it started off the day green and then it just came back to close flat. So this one was literally, it closed down like 0.09%. The open was 57.09, the close was 56.71. Barely moved anything. XPEV, another good one. This was alerted like last Thursday or last Friday. Trade's already up about 10%. It's now above 2680, which was your candle low from March 8th when the S&P was around the bottom of the wedge and starting to take off. Very good start to the trade. Daily MACD crossed over to green. 4-hour classic bullish divergence still playing out. I mean, super technical here. And there was crazy call buying on XPV today, like insane call buying activity. I've never really seen that on XPV before. Not that I've looked for it that much, but I've looked at the call options flow on XPV a few times, and today was pretty unusual. I'm not too sure why. And we'll see what happens. Trade's up 10% in a couple days. IPGP, it's about a week out since I posted this alert. It's up like 5%. Not much to talk about here. SPG, still at the entry of the trade. Not much to talk about there. Same thing on PGRE. It's actually up 7%, but this has been like 2 months long, so I don't know. I'm just gonna I don't want to spend too much time there. And unfortunately, Bitcoin has to ruin this good start to the week and break 41K. I mean, really, it all started when it broke 42K right at the start of the stream. That's when all of this started. So if you watched the beginning of the stream, we already talked about it, but all you got left that we're hoping for a bounce, that is the 200-day moving average, which you're now about 2% away from the 200-day moving average. So I'm just gonna set an alert at the 200-day moving average if we ever get there. That's also gonna mean we're pretty much testing 40K, which is a psychological level. You do not have classic bullish divergence on the 4 hour anymore. This trade is not off to a good start for right now. Sucks, but it's a part of the game. We'll see what happens. OMG trade's also getting hit for sure. We talked about in the beginning of the stream for a little bit. Crypto, yikes. But stocks or growth stocks, thumbs up. Very good start to the week for growth stocks. We'll see what happens with Bitcoin. Kind of trying to hang on to 41K. I don't know. But yeah, that recaps everything I wanted to talk about today. I don't know if I'm going to stream tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to stream next week. There's just some, I'll talk about it in the Discord, but I'm not too sure what the next few days are going to look like, or the next week or so. So this might be the last stream for like a week. This might not be. I might stream every day next week. We'll see what happens. I just might not be home. So yeah, that recaps everything I wanted to talk about. Crypto, yikes. Futures still down about 0.1%. Not too crazy. And yeah, beginning of the rotation out of crypto and back into growth stocks finally. That could be a part of what's going on. I don't think that a high majority of the people trading crypto also trades, like, there's a large amount of people who trade crypto and don't trade stocks, if that makes sense. So I'm not too sure if there's actual data that will give you the answers that you're looking for. But sure, are a part of people who were in this major bull run on crypto thinking about going to other markets that have been beaten down, like growth stocks? Absolutely, I'm sure there are some people that are doing that. But obviously I can't tell you for sure, but you know, something cool to think about that could be occurring. And yeah, OMG's, it's down quite a bit. Just like literally 99% of cryptos right now. Every single crypto on my watch list is down about 5% or more. So not good. And yeah, we'll do take a request now. We start typing some in. Oh, you're seeing people already saying they left small cap growth for altcoins. Yeah, like back like a couple of months ago, if that's what you're talking about. Maybe they could be making their return. Mana. Alto. I already typed that in. Spotify, I think, had some news or something. Maybe? No, I think it was Shopify that had news today, not Spotify. Yeah. Tesla. I already added that as well. I think like the guy, for like the real person, if you ever watched the movie The Big Short, the guy from The Big Short, like the real person, the hedge fund manager or whatever, got like a $500 million position in Tesla puts, which that was some interesting news that came out like yesterday or something, maybe the day before. PLTH, is this what you want me to look at, or is it PITH? Planet 13 Holdings. I'm just gonna add it. Let me know if that's correct or not. Add it yet. MDWD, Michael Burry, that's his name. Yeah, I forgot what he was talking about. Something about like can't remember, like credit or something, like regulate. I don't remember exactly what his thesis was. I didn't really look into it. CCIV, somebody mentioned in the Discord today, and I just sent them a screenshot of how I would look at it from here. The thing with CCIV is it's hard to tell. You know, this has been had a crazy pump and then a crazy dump. We've had good trades and bad trades in this little area right over here. At this point, a double bottom is possible. It's starting to look like one. You do have classic bullish divergence on the daily. If you want to give it a shot, if you like Lucid, this is how I would manage my risk personally. I'm not in it right now, but I'd probably throw my stop loss under last week's lows, because if you break that, then you don't really have much more support, and that would pretty much give you about a 12% risk from the current price. And then my targets would probably be the end of April's high, which is around 24, and then second target around $27, which is your golden retrace from this high over here in March to the lows last week in May. So that's CCIV. I don't know why my hair just won't, I don't know. Fubo was up 5% today. That's what I'm talking about, man. Look at all these growth stocks doing things after looking super bullish all of last week after the drop. Even Fubo's kind of starting to look like a double bottom, except for like that one candle, which was a very nice candle, bullish engulfing candle. Not much divergence I'm seeing. You're, again, same exact thesis as last night. I know you went up another 5%, but like, this is your resistance zone, you know. End of April highs to the 200-day moving average, pretty much like 22 to 23 bucks is the resistance. If you can break it, then you have very little resistance until 26. If you can't break it, then your support is 1757. So you're like right in the middle of support and resistance, which is not my type of trade based on my risk strategy. I like when something's a lot closer to a support than to a resistance, so I can get like a 3 reward to risk, which is what I was talking about. Something like that, which you can't really get here based on the support and resistance, because you are targeting the next resistance, and if your stop loss is under the closest major support, you have a 1 reward to risk, which is literally a coin flip. So maybe the coin flips in your direction, but it's not my personal type of trade for right now. We'll see what happens. And of course, like, Fubo's been crushed. I actually like Fubo fundamentally. They've signed some very nice deals, so I'm rooting for it. I'm not rooting against it. I just, you know, from a technical standpoint and a risk strategy standpoint, I'm not too sure. ZOM, it went down to the 200-day moving average, is trying to bounce off of it. This is it. All right, what you want to see on ZOM is you want to reclaim 88 cents. If it can do that, I'd probably target 129. If it can't break back above 88 cents, your next area is a gap fill at 50 cents, which I really hope it doesn't get down there. But if it breaks the 200-day moving average, there's nothing really stopping it from going to 50 cents. If we just zoom out, I mean, that was a low back from March of 2019. It was a high from February of last year. It's a gap fill. Like, if you break the 200-day moving average, of course you have another gap fill. Is this a gap fill? What is the gap fill here? So you gapped up from here to here. Yeah, so that is a gap fill. This area is not a gap fill. So we'll see what happens. ALTO from Guy and Hat, right? Yeah, hidden bullish divergence on the 4-hour. We'll take a look. Even kind of on the daily, if you really zoom into these two islands, you also have some. On the 4-hour, it is definitely a lot more clear and confirmed. Trying to break out of the falling wedge. November high. I don't know how you get a falling wedge from this. From November's high? I'm not too sure. I don't know if you meant October's high. Like something like that. This is probably how you're looking at it. Something like this. Where, yeah, it is trying to break out of it. So if it can break out of it, you still have the 200-day moving average you need to get above. But if you can break that, then who knows what the limit could be. I mean, on the daily, you have a gap fill to 708. That could be a target. And you probably could just use Fibonacci from the high down to the lows. And then even it kind of looks like a somewhat inverse head and shoulders. Like that. So, yeah, this could be the place where the momentum shifts. I don't know about a harmonic here. Not really. So yeah, that's ALTO. We'll see what happens there. If it can break this area, we'll see where it goes to. MANA to USD. I mean, just like most cryptos, it probably depends on what Bitcoin wants to do here. It's just in like a down sloping channel. This is it. It's just in the down sloping channel. Until it breaks out of it, I'm not too sure. I'd probably just wait until it does break out. Of course, it can break to either direction, but I don't really know. Other than that down sloping channel, I don't really see much to talk about. I mean, kind of hidden bullish divergence is developing on the daily, but again, we'll see what Bitcoin wants to do. And I don't really see much of a pattern here. Maybe like a demand line like this could be another support area on the daily. Spotify. Yeah, it just really needs to hold on. It's kind of hanging on by a thread here. It's trying to hold the lows from September 16th of last year and also the low from May 11th. of this year. If it cannot hold it, then you have a gap fill to 199, which was also your all-time high. Not your all-time, it was your previous all-time high in July of 2018. So if you break this, I think you're going to go down to 200 bucks. It's obviously a psychological resistance, so it's like you really want to hold 220. That's what I'm looking at. That's it. And then eventually classic bullish divergence can confirm on the daily MACD and the RSI. Tesla, this is not a trade. It was just something I was scanning over the weekend. Kind of flat this week regardless. Just looking at it kind of like a bullish bat. And it did actually get a reaction the first time it tested the PCZ. It went up like 5%. Then it pulled back. Now it's trying to pull up again. Like, it's probably going to look like a double bottom. Yeah, kind of looks like a double bottom on the 1 hour, but then you got up to 595 and then you rejected it, and now you're back under the 200-day moving average. So not too sure on Tesla. This 595 area is the big resistance. It was your support here, support here, support here. I think it was also your resistance right over here. 595. I'd want to see Tesla get back above 595 before I touch it, just because of the downtrend and everything else. And also it's under the 200-day moving average by a little bit. I want to see it retest 600 before I get more confident. AIKA. Nice. Oscillators look good. It's not really divergence, it's just bullish convergence. You made a higher low on the price, a higher low on the MACD, a higher low on the RSI, which is still bullish. It's not as good as divergence, but kind of double bottoming back over the 200-day moving average. I like the last 3 daily candles, kind of like a three white soldiers candle pattern. Trying to double bottom. If it breaks it, you have a gap fill to 126. Obviously a better entry area. And that's pretty much it here. But yes, AIKI was up 7.2% today. Let's see. You do want to look at this one for PLTH? All right. Oh, I also need to talk about Wall Street Bet stocks. We'll do that after we finish a lot of these ticket requests. If I forget it, just remind me. Probably just look at it as something like this, like a kind of like a triangle, you know, price consolidation going sideways, pretty neutral. No divergence. Maybe a harmonic is in play here on the 4 hour. It would have to be a butterfly. And I guess you got pretty close to the 161A from B to D and started pushing back upwards. So the MACD actually went back to green on the 4 hour without divergence. As long as it holds this domain line, it's fine, but not my type of trade. Even if it does move up, I don't really trade things like this without the divergence, and this is like a neutral pattern. It's not really a bullish or a bearish one, even though you kind of have like a butterfly on lower time frames. MDWD, triple classic bullish divergence is developing on the daily, which looks pretty good. Broke under the 200-day moving average. Maybe this one's also like a bat. Yeah, I mean, if you get a little bit lower, you're talking about a bullish bat with divergence. You need to drop another like 7 or 8% to get down to the PCZ. And that's really it. Don't really see any horizontal supports. Well, I guess this is an important level, 376. It was your lows on the beginning of 2019, January 3rd. Keep hitting that like button. Let's try to get at 30 likes and hit that subscribe button. So I'm gonna get to BEPC and AOSL and SCSN and COCP in a second here. I just want to talk about some other things I missed. Why did I not add? So, all right, so we're gonna get to those figures in a second. I want to talk about a few other things. AMC and GameStop. All right, so if you remember last week, AMC broke out of this symmetrical triangle. We talked about it last night on stream. Broke out of this symmetrical triangle, had a big move, went right back up to the next resistance, kind of chilling out over there, which makes sense. GameStop, You see where AMC was right over here, right there? That's where GameStop is. Okay, this is not an actual trade that I put out. I was just looking at it. GameStop and AMC are obviously very similarly traded. Wall Street Bets, Reddit, Hype, short float, stocks, you know what I'm talking about. And if GameStop is actually going to follow in the footsteps of AMC, which is kind of like a vice versa back from like January and February, maybe it takes, you know, maybe it takes a move to the upside. It's already been moving up. It was pretty flat today, but it just went from 137 to 180. We'll see what happens. Not really my type of trade. You don't have much divergence, but if you're a breakout trader, you broke out on GME, I don't know, maybe you do back test the breakout, which honestly you kind of did on the lows today. But if GameStop, I'm just telling you, if GameStop is going to copy what AMC did last week, there is room up to like 220 to 230 on GameStop. If it is going to copy. I don't know if it's going to copy AMC, but a lot of people are talking about it. And we'll see what happens. That's what I'm bringing up. I'm going to keep them on my watch list going into tomorrow. Not for swing trades, but for potential day trades. If the variables align, I mean, if, like we talked about last night on stream, if AMC breaks 1422, there's literally nothing until $17, which was your candle open on February 1st and your candle high on April 17th of last year. And I think it was something else. No, not really. So it was a candle high from 2019 and a candle open from February of this year. So if AMC breaks above 1422, I might try a breakout trade. I very rarely ever breakout trade. And then if GameStop starts getting some volume on the 30-minute chart in the beginning of the day, I might give it a shot. I don't know. I'm looking at them going into tomorrow. We'll see what happens. Just a lot of people are talking about them, and we know what happened the last time that a lot of people were talking about them. And to be fair, like, GameStop has really not done much. Obviously it's had its ups and downs, but ever since like March, it's not really put in like much of a crazy move compared to what happened in January and what happened in the beginning of March. It went for like a round 2. So we'll see. I don't know. Just something I want to share with all of you. It's on my watch list. These are very, very volatile. Don't move similarly to many other stocks. They're kind of in their own world for now. See what happens. Let me skip this song. It's kind of making weird sounds. We'll get back to the rest. But yeah, for the premium members in here, how was that QS trade? I don't know if we have any. We do have some premium members in the chat I've seen. You were in on that QS trade. Neutron Flux Labs, you were talking about it. Vibes in the chat. Why are you not on the Discord? Or the premium chart art would have educated you enough to be in position for 150% gains or more. QS was the highlight of my day personally. It was a great move. So yeah, let's take a look at these tickers. Hopefully we can get another QS type trade soon. Or options trade soon. And also, if you missed my options video over the weekend, and if you want to find your own options trades, I put out a 1-hour crash course video on options. It's like the second to last video on my channel. It's in the trading course on my channel. Go watch that full video and it'll probably help you out somewhat, as much as an hour of education can help you out. I dropped that on the weekend. And yeah, if you do ever want to follow my options trades, I always share it with premium members. The link's in the description. AOSL, wow. I mean, but also the member trades have been doing very nicely this week so far. Fisker, XPV, IPOE, HOFE had a nice move yesterday, but it pulled back today. IPGP is up a few percent. PGRE is, I'm not even going to talk about PGRE. It's kind of annoying at this point. I mean, it's done nothing for 2 months. At what point is this just like a stable coin or something? Bitcoin still is at 41K. AOSL, falling wedge, quadruple classic bullish divergence on the daily. Very strong looking. Not really divergence on your RSI. You even have triple classic. Actually, you also have quadruple classic bullish divergence on the 4-hour. So a lot of bullish divergence on AOSL. You also have bullish divergence on the RSI on the 4-hour. So a lot of bullish divergence in a falling wedge. It's trying to break out as well over here. Definitely trade worthy. Doesn't mean it's going to go up for sure, but you could get a nice reward to risk.
I want to live for
I'd target the 618 and the 786 of the falling wedge because it's a pretty shallow falling wedge. It's not like a super steep one. On the shallow falling wedges, I go for the 618 and the 786. And on like the super steep falling wedges that are like huge corrections, I go for the 382 and the 0.50. But if you wanted to trade it, I'd probably just throw my stop loss right under the candle lows from May 17th, which was a very green day. And then I'd probably just target the 618 and the 786. It's a breakout trade pretty much, and your MACD is already ready to go. It's like now we're probably in the future, but like not soon. It's like now or never, but obviously can't say never for a stock. You get what I'm trying to say. SCSN in the middle of a support and resistance, no divergence. I think we looked at this last night. Nothing's really changed. You have hidden bullish divergence on the 4-hour. It was up 5% today. It's just trying to make a higher low. It could run to the top of the range. It could come back down to the bottom. I have no clue what it's going to do. I can see it going either way. Just not my type of trade. COCP, also not something I would typically trade with the gappy candles, the very low volume, and the pump and dump. I mean, this is a pump and dump. You cannot argue that. This stock got pump and dumped, whether it was off of a catalyst or not. Probably was, but I don't know. I mean, if we're going to ignore this crazy pump and dump, sure, you could look at it probably like a falling wedge. But like, skip that. I don't know what that song was. But like at the same time, like it could be argued that this falling wedge already played out to the max and then it just dumped again. Like we could have just looked at it like this, right? You could just say, hey, it was already in a falling wedge. It broke out of the falling wedge on a news catalyst or whatever. It went up over 150% and then it came all the way back down. So it's like, it's just, I don't like when there's questions on a chart, and this chart just brings out a lot of questions. I know nothing about this asset. It looks like a pretty small company. All I can say is like this 106 to 109 area is pretty important. As you can see, 106 was your resistance from August to September of last year, and now it has become your support as of last week. So as long as you hold out, I guess it's fine, but not my type of ticker as well. BEPC, classic bullish divergence on the 4-hour is currently already playing out. Also, you have confirmed classic bullish divergence on the daily. Oscillators look good. You even have classic bullish divergence on the RSI. I mean, this could turn into a Gartley eventually if it comes down to the 786, which it would have to drop 15% to do so. Maybe this classic bullish divergence plays out. It runs up, it makes a lower high, and then drops down to the PCZ, which also is pretty close to really the only support area you can kind of find on this chart from these consolidation areas, just for like a few days. I'm not too sure. Not a lot of data to work with, but yeah, there's a few things you could definitely be looking at on this chart. CSCO, CLI. I think I was looking at that recently. I'm not too sure. Appreciate you dropping the link to the Discord, Brayden. CSCO, been going crazy. Oh, this is Cisco. There's very little resistance until $58, which I think is your previous all-time highs. I'm not too sure. You also have a gap fill to $55. No divergence, not much of a pattern, just in a really nice uptrend. As long as you continue to make higher lows, you're fine. And that's really it. So I can really talk about on this chart. CLI, I think this will be the final ticker for the night. It's at a support area. I mean, 4-hour classic divergence. Yeah. Kind of is trading in a range. Probably even just put in a supply line there as well. I don't know anything about this. I think it's a SPAC maybe. Maybe it's not. Kind of looks like one. I don't know anything about what it is, but I guess as long as you can hold above this support area between like 1060 and $11, it's fine. You have a gap fill to, actually, let's see, did it get filled? Pretty much got filled, never mind. The top of the range is like $14, so if you're talking about reward to risk here, it's very nice. If you're just going to be a range bound trader, you're talking about risking 5% to potentially make 32% if it does what it did the last 3 times it was at the bottom of the range. I don't know if it will, but just looking at history, if the trend continues, it's a good reward to risk. Even if it does fail, it's a 5% loss. And that is CLII, Bitcoin. Pretty much the worst performing trade right now, alongside the other crypto trade, OMG. I gave it a shot, didn't work out. I mean, it looked fine for like 2 days, and then today, people just were not in the mood to buy Bitcoin, I guess. And that was that, or that is that for now. I hope it bounces at the 200-day moving average. If it doesn't, it could be a failed trade. But even if this is a failed trade, I mean, still a pretty good week, all right? Still a decent start to the week regardless. I still need to add, this would be a little bit different now. Bitcoin would be down 4% and OMG would be down like 5 or 6%. So this would look a little bit different. I'll update it tomorrow at the close. We'll see how it looks then. And yeah, thank you for all the support. I don't know when the next time I'm going to stream is going to be. Maybe I'll just be on my normal streaming schedule. Maybe I won't stream for the next week, but I'll let you know in the Discord. If you want those updates, join the Discord. The link's in the description. Thank you for all the support. Hit the like button if you didn't already. Have a good night. And good luck tomorrow in the market. Remember, FOMC minutes are tomorrow. That could lead to volatility. Tonight, I just had green tea. And yeah, have a good night, everybody. Appreciate all the support. Peace out.